Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is the greatest time of the day. From the center of the universe, New York City, it's the main event you've been waiting for. It's time to go in the cage with Cyclone.
And your Messiah has come back. And listen, guys, right off the top, we have a very, very special guest on the phone lines right now, all the way from beautiful California, Bellator's own Amber Librock. Amber, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Okay, so first of all, it's freezing cold here. How's the weather out in California?
Today it's actually really nice. It's not like too hot, so I'm still in my sweater, but the sun's shining, so that's always good.
Okay, so I know you teach youngsters, and what I'd like to know is, where did that love of teaching come from?
I don't know. I got three little brothers, so growing up, I always helped take care of my brothers, but I really didn't know that I was good at teaching until I started training. When I started training, at my old gym, my first gym I was at, I was just their assistant coach, and eventually it turned into something that I really liked. And I guess I was always a nanny. I nannied before I was a fighter, so that probably helped a lot because I had some experience in at least taking care of kids.
Now, another one of your loves is pit bulls.
Yeah.
So what is it about
Yes.
pit bulls that just draws you to them?
Well, I guess it's because they're so misunderstood. Everybody is so. Not everybody, but most of the time, if I take my dog out, she gets a lot of looks. People are scared of her just because she's a pit bull, but she's probably the sweetest little thing you've ever met in your entire life. And I think that they're just misunderstood creatures. So to be able to set a good example and show people what a well-behaved pit bull is like, I think it's kind of helping the cause.
Now, are you sure they aren't a little bit timid of you being a kick-ass martial artist?
No, they're usually more scared of her than me.
Now, growing up, did you happen to collect anything?
Do I collect things?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't really collect things. I did start collecting chopsticks for a while, so whenever people would go anywhere or visit places, they'd bring me back chopsticks, but I haven't added to that collection in a long time.
See, now what we got to do is we got to get Scott Coker to get you onto a Mohegan Sun card, because there are some incredible Asian restaurants at the Mohegan Sun Arena.
Yeah.
That you could definitely pick up some chopsticks.
Yeah, that'd be nice. As soon as I can get back in there, I'm hoping they put me in there.
Now, do you have a timetable for when you'd like to get back in?
No. I mean, I'd like to fight beginning of the year is what I'm thinking. I kind of not severely busted up my shoulder, but from the slam, it kind of did some things to my shoulder. So it's not really 100% right now. So I'm waiting, to try to get my shoulder up a little bit more before I really put a time or a date of when I'm going to fight again in my head.
So I'm thinking then the Hawaii trip would be out of question?
Unfortunately, yeah, the Hawaii trip's going to be out of the question. But I am hoping to do Nogi World at the end of December. So I'll at least still be busy.
Now, How did you know deep inside yourself that you wanted to go from amateur to pro?
It kind of just fell in my lap. I knew that I knew that I wasn't as young as everybody else, and I knew that time, wasn't going to last forever. So when I got the opportunity to go from amateur to pro, I kind of just ran with it, and it was for a Victor contract. So it wasn't really a situation where I could say no. I kind of just had to do it.
Now, fighting for Shannon at Invicta and fighting for Scott in Bellator, are there any similarities between the two?
Yeah, like both promotions take really good care of the fighters. I mean, obviously it's different because Invicta's all women and Bellator is obviously not. It's mostly guys. So that was a little weird to adjust to at first because I'm just used to being in the back with a bunch of girls, and girls don't act like guys do in the back of the locker room. But other than that, it's pretty much the same. Like, they just take care of us, like whatever we need. Bellator has been nothing but helpful, and Shannon was amazing when I was there.
So, okay, once the shoulder is healed, do you think you'd want to roll it back against Arlene, or is there somebody else you're kind of looking at?
I don't know. I'm probably not the next one when it want to roll it back with Arlene, but in the near future, I definitely want to roll it back with Arlene. I think that there are just some things in that fight that with myself that I needed to be doing that I wasn't, and I think that it would be totally different if I was in a different mindset.
And honestly, and I'm not even saying this because I'm a fan of yours or because you're on the air with me. You were actually ahead, at least on my scorecard, before that slam happened. So,
yeah, I did secure like a few takedowns. Well, at least I know I got one takedown. My hands weren't really flying. I wasn't trusting my hands as much as I'd like them to be. From what I heard, I was up the 2 rounds, but it is what it is. Like, shit happens. You're winning the fight until you're not. And, not taking away from anything from Arlene, like, she's a vet. Like, she deserves all the credit in the world. I made a tiny little mistake. I paid for it, and it's on to the next.
Now, your head kick against Janae was kind of almost Holly/Ronda-esque. If you look at it. So, is throwing a head kick now going to be one of your go-to moves?
I mean, if people are going to leave their head open, I'm going to try to kick it. And, it's harder to catch a kick to the head than it is to the body, and I'm mostly all leg, so kicking people in the head isn't a hard task.
Now, I know you really can't talk about another organization, but the PFL just announced that they're doing a 155 division basically for Kayla Harrison. You're a true 145er.
Yeah, I would stay at 45. I don't have any interest in going up into 55.
And it's hard enough for companies to come up with 145ers because, look, honestly, there's only 10 of you in Bellator.
Yeah.
At 140. So how hard would it be for a PFL of all organizations to come up with 155ers?
I don't think it's going to be hard at all. Like, there's a lot of 55ers out there. There's a lot of lightweights out there. I think now is just the time that they're starting to get exposure, and just like anything, you got to let the amateurs kind of come up in the ranks a little bit. And this is the first time that being a 55er, being a 45er isn't completely off the table. So I think this is just the beginning, but we got to give people a little bit of time to catch up and start to feel comfortable in their own weight classes. Girls have been cutting weight down to 35 for a long time. That shouldn't have been. So girls are finally starting to come back up, and I think it's just a matter of time before both the 55 and the 45 division fill up.
Cool. Well, I know you just picked up your purple belt not too long ago.
Yes.
You zeroing in on a brown belt soon?
Well, no. I definitely need to be training a lot more in my gi than I am with my shoulder being bumped. You know, I haven't really been able to grapple as much as I'd like. So the brown belt is kind of in the future, far future.
Now, just out of curiosity, looking at that, I mean, obviously it's something you'd want to do, and eventually even, you know, a black belt. How hard was it making that climb up to a purple belt?
I mean, it took me forever. I was a blue belt for a long time because I ended up switching teams. And, you know, being an MMA fighter, when you train mostly MMA, you don't get to do just straight jiu-jitsu as often as you'd like. You know, my jiu-jitsu school is not at the same place where I train my MMA stuff. So my jiu-jitsu school, Darcy O'Leary, you know, they're very traditional. So if you're not on the mat a lot, you don't get to, you know, progress fast, you know. And because I am mostly an MMA fighter, my time in the gi isn't as much as I'd like. So sometimes it takes me a little bit longer to climb those ranks than most people.
So how come, if you could come up with a reason why do you think most MMA fans just, I mean, MMA's basis is in jiu-jitsu, right? So how come it just doesn't get the respect that it should?
Because they don't understand what's going on. And because it's not always like super exciting to see people, you know, being held down and, you know, tiny. Like jiu-jitsu is a game of inches, and if people aren't looking for inches, like they're looking to see the mile, when just little inches are happening, it's not that entertaining to them. And especially if they don't know what's going on. Like everybody knows if somebody's getting punched in the face, but people don't know if a guy is setting up his arms, you know, with his head trapping and moving, like these small little movements. People watching are just like, you know, pick it up, like let's go, like make something happen.
Well, you know what? I can honestly say this has been entertaining.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you so much for your time.
Oh, yes, for sure. For sure. Thank you guys for having me on.
No problem. And I will, fingers are crossed, arms are crossed, eyes are crossed to get you East Coast, Amber.
Definitely. That'd be cool. I've never been over there.
Cool. Thank you so much.
For sure. Thank you. Bye.
All right, bye. How awesome. How awesome. And I'm telling you guys, you gotta watch her stuff on YouTube. You just gotta go research Amber Leibrock. One of the best 145ers. Dare I even say she might be able to take out Cyborg if, you know, she came here or if Cyborg goes there. But who knows if that'll happen ever. You know, I should have asked her that. That's the story of my life, folks. Always coming up with good stuff after the fact. Anyways, we will be back with the whole shingding right after this.
This is Frank Edgar.
This is the Barbarian Tim Bosch.
I'm World Series of Fighting undefeated lightweight champion Justin Gaethje.
MMA legend, UFC Hall of Famer, Iceman. Check it out. If you got the guts, step in the cage with Cyclone.
Okie dokie, I is back. I mean, where else am I going for another, you know, like 45 minutes? Nowhere. Anyways, guys, check out CycloneComedy.com. Check out Psyche Prods on Facebook. And if you enter the Facebook question raffle, guess what? You might be able to win a free prize. And trust me, I have a lot of them. Also, please, I'm begging you, everyone, share the video. Click share. It's so simple, a monkey could do it. I know how to do it. I'm sure you can. Please click share. I appreciate it. So, going back a little bit as we rewind what went on this past weekend, LFA 52 happened. Okay. Vernon Lewis took a right hand and I mean just leveled Jeremy Hardy. And then all holy hell a flurry of, was it right knee? I believe it was right knees also. Just pounded him into submission. Well, not submission, it was a TKO, but you guys get the idea. John Avan Patty was dropped by a right hook from Puna Soriano, locks in a body triangle, and just squeezes the life out of him in a rear naked choke. And let's move to where, once again, Cyclone's predictions were right. Cage Warriors 98. And it's hard to imagine that company's almost at their 100th card. All right. Ross Houston is the new and new welterweight champion at Cage Warriors. He's now 8-0. And a lot of Cage Warrior fighters don't want to follow the path of Conor McGregor. He does. He's 8-0, and I mean, he is just a powerhouse. But powerhouses take a beating too. Let's go to video number 1, Bobby.
So that gives you the space to get back up.
That was the 4th round, and he got smoked. Comes back, wins a split decision. He becomes champ. Soon to be champ, maybe soon to get a phone call from Dana. You know, the UFC could use some welterweights, you know. He might be on the phone really, really soon. George McManus locked in an absolutely beautiful. You know what? While you're watching Amber Leibrock's stuff, check out George McManus. He laid out a beautiful reverse triangle on Josh Plant for a submission win. Then, while the cat's away, the mice will play. So no UFC, no Bellator. The final week of the PFL playoffs went down in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. And what happened? Ray Cooper III happened. Bobby, 2 and 3 play back-to-back, please.
So some clean shots from the back.
Oh, he catches him over the top.
Big right hand, that hurt Jake Shields. Jake is in trouble here.
Can he withstand 2 more minutes of this? This is close to being over.
Jake Shields is in big trouble here.
That is it. Money marks in the corner of Henderson Ferreira. Boy, Ray Cooper, I don't know.
That one hurt him
hard.
That left one hurt him.
He rocked him hard.
That hurts just watching. First of all, look, here's the deal. He is an undersized fighter, okay? But, you know, much like Daniel Cormier, much like the John Fitches, the Jake Shields, they're all undersized. They're not big monsters, you know? And when you spend your whole life being undersized, you know how to deal with it, you know how to fight, you know how to do everything. And that's what Ray Cooper did. First of all, Jake Shields beat his father, I think, like 25 to 27 years ago. Earlier during the regular season, Cooper beat Shields to avenge his father's loss. And now he smokes him to get into the finals. Then Henson Ferrara, that second TKO. Geez. Henson beat Ray on the regional circuit in Honolulu. He was talking a lot of smack leading up to that fight. What happened? You saw what happened. Ray Cooper laid him out. Jeez Louise. It's stuff like that that's absolutely beautiful to watch. It really, really is. Now, will he win $1 million on December 31st? I don't know. Khabib's cousin, Abubakar was replacing Joe Zeffirino, who got hurt. He was taking on Bojan Veljkovic. He beats him. After the fight, goes through medicals, finds out he hurt his hand, and it wasn't on Conor McGregor's head that he hurt his hand. Cannot continue, so they tell Bojan. Bojan's in tears. He's so happy he gets to continue. And he comes out in the semifinals hesitant, not stepping forward. He was actually leaning back on all his punches. It's not really the way to grab the bull by the horns, if you know what I mean. And he winds up getting beat by Magomed Karamov. You got to love when someone's first name and their last name are the same name, and you just add a Karamov at the end of it. Luis Taylor. Let me just do this. Luis Taylor dropped John Howard. He was hitting him with ground and pound. They said he landed an illegal knee, which turned out to be an accidental knee, which turned out to be Luis Taylor winning by a technical draw. I don't know. I watched the video like 8 times. I didn't see a knee. Apparently, I'm blind. Because everyone else saw it except for me. So if you go out and you take a look, Luis Taylor PFL playoffs, hit me up afterwards and tell me if you see a knee, because I didn't. And has nothing to do with the fact that both Yamasakis were reffing the majority of the fights on that card. I would like to remind all of you, after me, keep it right here on Strong Island Television, because we have Pinups, Cool Cats, and Comics. We got my house show. We got Saki Radio. All that's happening after me. Now, in a few seconds when we take a break, when we come back, we're going to be talking some top stories. We're going to be talking the upcoming schedule. I want everybody to please share this. Hit me up on Facebook at Psyche Prods. Hit me up on my website, cyclonecomedy.com, as I give a nice salute to Brian Horan. Thank you for sharing. And yes, this is an iced tea, Brian. And you know what? We'll be back with all that stuff and more after this.
Hi, I'm Jim Miller.
This is Dan Merigliotta.
I'm Derek Brunson.
I'm Nick the Carney Lentz, and you're locked into the cage with Cyclone.
Okay, and I'm still drinking the tea, Brian. You can't stop me. Can't stop a good thing from coming on. Anyways, so what do we have coming up? It's another semi-light week before the weeks start getting crazier with more and more cards added every weekend. We have one championship coming up. The new home, by the way, of Mr. Eddie Alvarez, who I ran into earlier today. I did that. Ong Lan Sang is defending his middleweight title against the 9-0 Muhammad Karaki. And here's something you need to know about Muhammad Karaki. He doesn't want to come anywhere near the United States. Look, you know what? It's sort of like Ben Askren. Although Ben Askren wanted deep down inside, if you really ask him, he wanted to be in the UFC. He wanted to be in Bellator. Never got the right opportunity to. Muhammad? They've interviewed him. I've watched the interviews. Wants nothing to do with the U.S. Is very, very happy being the medium fish in the medium pond. I don't know. Some people are like that. Me personally, I'm more like the I'd rather be a tiny fish in a big pond because I kind of want to be in the big pond. Because then again, this won't fit into a tiny pond. You know what I mean? I'm kind of large, you know. Saturday in New Brunswick, and not New Brunswick, New Jersey, New Brunswick, Canada, is Fight Night 138. 138. Headlined by Volkan Ozdemir, No Time, against Anthony Smith. Now look, this card outside of that main event is weak. It's weak. And I'm going to get into why it's so weak, in a little while. And also this Saturday, in Gotham City, Madison Square Garden, the very last HBO boxing card. Because HBO is no longer involved in boxing. They're done. As Steve Austin used to say, they are done. No more boxing for HBO. We have Danny Jacobs on the card, headlining it, going for the vacant WBO featherweight championship. And vacant IBF middleweight title, I meant. The WBO featherweight championship is being contested by she doesn't know she's my girlfriend yet, Heather Hardy, and Shelly Vincent in the rematch. If you guys remember, for Heather Hardy's second Bellator fight, Bellator has the weigh-ins, the early weigh-ins, the official weigh-ins, open to the public, unlike a certain other company. And Shelly Vincent, who is a major rival of Heather's in the boxing world, almost charged the stage. She was pulled away. And Heather, just stood there smiling, doing one of these jammies, I think my Brooklyn girl Heather's going to smash Shelly once again. That's just me, but Heather's undefeated in boxing, and I'd say she's going to remain that way. As I turn the page of notes, which is unprofessional, let's go to those big stories, shall we? Now look, like I said, I was going to talk about one championship. Their CEO, Shatri Sityontang, is really upset that his undefeated atomweight champion, Angela Lee, who, by the way, has crossed over. She's not only fighting, she's a model. She's doing some minor acting. She's making her way crossing over. Shatri is look, he's gotten an American education. He worked on Wall Street as a hedge funds guy. Went back to Asia. And the fact of the matter is, hey, Anthony, long time. As I interrupt myself, I got to give props to my old schoolmates from PS 114. Thank you very much. And don't forget to share, Anthony. Let everybody else know from 114 what I am doing. Big stuff. Anyways, he's really upset that Angela is now trying to become their version of the champ because she wants to go after strawweight champion Jingnang Zhang. And she's 13-1. She is the Asian version of what Joanna Champion was when she was just tearing through people. Jingnang is a beast at 115. She very easily could be the best 115er on the planet. And that's including the UFC 115ers. As a matter of fact, she might be better than the 125 guys in the UFC. She's that tough. And Shatri is worried that this is going to be Angela's first loss. She should stay in her own division, keep defending. I don't know. You can't really stop someone that's making that climb. She's already crossed over, like I said. So if she becomes a champ, it's better for the company. It really is. Mind you, my whole thing with champs is I hate it because it ties up 2 divisions, if not 3 if you become a champ. I don't know. You're the CEO. You're the promoter. You sign these contracts. You can't sign a contract like this and then say, nah, I don't want you doing it. You're giving these fighters the contract to sign. You don't want it? Don't give it to them. Say no. You're not going to go up a division. You want to go up a division? Vacate your belt and then go up. Seems logical and easy to me. Now let's get into this thing about the UFC. There are just too many goddamn cards. No other way to say it. Too many cards. Out of 52 weeks in a year, I think the UFC takes, 5-6 weeks off? And by the way, the pay-per-view plan, the pay-per-view model is done. If Bellator hasn't shown you guys anything with DAZN, it's proof that combat sports is going to go the streaming route. That's more successful for them. Hell, HBO, like I said, it's done with boxing. HBO has been partnered with boxing forever. And they're done. It's it after Saturday, no more. For the love of God. Here's what the UFC needs to do. And they're not going to because I think they have something like 50 somewhat cards planned for next year between ESPN, ESPN Plus, and the pay-per-views, which they're going back to one every month. Basically, there's 4 weeks in every month. Do a pay-per-view, skip a week, do an ESPN card, or do a streaming a week off and an ESPN card. You don't have the rosters. Guys keep falling out. Look at 230. You know who's going to be the main event? Me. And you know what? Brian Horan, it's going to be me and you fighting in the main event at 230. Or maybe me, you versus Curtis, in the main event. Because I guarantee you, between now and November 3rd, there's going to be another fighter to fall out. I guarantee it. Write it down. Take out your notebook, okay, and write it down. On this date, the 27th episode of In the Cage with Cyclone, Cyclone said another fighter is going to fall out. It's just the facts. It is. Plain and simple, it is the facts. Really? You want to do it? Really? If I beat you, just a side note, I know this is unprofessional, but really, Brian? You want me? When I beat you, I'll put up money. You want to put up the misses? Think about it. Think about what you're getting yourself into. This isn't just a blob. This can fight. Anyways, they need iced tea is what they need. They need less cards. Because they have to shrink their roster too. And I know I just said so many fighters fall out. They need to make things more precise. It's too loosey-goosey. There's too many fingers and too many ways of doing things there. And honestly, Bellator has a much smarter program going than the UFC. The Bellator's doing a lot better in a lot of areas, as a matter of fact, than the UFC. And speaking of Bellator, word has come down since Scott Coker has a relationship with the management, if you will, of Ryzen, that they want to cross-promote. Now, if you go on boneheadpicks.com and you scroll way back about a year ago, you see an article I wrote that MMA should sort of do, since it's almost like wrestling now anyways, they should do like an NWO takeover of WCW. Okay? If Bellator and Ryzen can co-promote, what's stopping them from co-promoting with other people? And look, here's the deal. The UFC is now owned by entertainment people. Okay? Entertainment people are interested in one thing and one thing only. And that's the bottom line. Dollars and cents. You cross-promote, it's a lot of dollars. It is. There's no denying it. Hardcore fans, you guys might say, oh, no. No cross-promotion. It's what sells. And you hardcore guys that say no, guess what? You're going to watch it. You'll watch anything in a cage. You will watch a lawnmower and a pair of scissors fighting each other in a cage. And don't say you won't, because you will. I know you will. It's just the way things are. Because you guys can't get enough of what goes on in a cage. You know, it's the visceral part of human society, human DNA is to fight that bloodlust that humans have. And quite frankly, it's why we all love combat sports, whether it's boxing, wrestling, MMA, or whatever the case might be. So, that being said, I'm going to slug some of this tea, which will piss Brian Horan off some more. No champ, okay? But yes, you know what? Before we take this break, let me just say, the Bellator Ryzen, the word is that Bellator's bantamweight champion, Darian Caldwell, is the one that's willing to step up and take on Ryzen's bantamweight champ. So if they're going to cross-promote, they might as well start cross-promoting at the higher levels. And yes, you know what? Bader DC would be a perfect fight, especially now. Because now, like Bader said a couple weeks ago, if I fought DC now, I could take him. Back in the day, I wouldn't be able to. Now we can get to the other stuff. When we come back, we're going to do some segments that everybody's waiting for. So, hit up CycloneComedy.com. Hit up Psyche Prods on Facebook. Enter the raffle, you could win a prize. And most of all, pretty please, share this. Please. Pretty please. I'll be best friend. I'll be nice to you. Please. Okay. We'll come back right after this.
I'm Dennis Bermudez. Hi, I'm a creepy Ian McCall.
Yo, I'm Kelvin Gastelum.
This is Mark Goldberg. Yo, I'm the world's most dangerous man, Hall of Famer Ken Shamrock, and you're getting tapped out in the cage with Cyclone.
Okie dokie smoky. I know all of you guys are waiting for the raffle, so let's start off with this, shall we? The first question that I will be answering is number 8. Oy vey. Brian Horan, you are the first question that gets answered. Does Brock call out the winner of the 230 main event? let's see. Number 1, Brock will be cage side. Number 2, let's hope DC and Derek Lewis make it to the cage. Because if that falls off, you're looking at Weidman Jacare as the main event right now. Might as well cancel the card. So, but if they make it, would he call him out? Yeah, he would. And for DC's sake, he better retain that championship because, you know, DC can beat Brock. No way Derek can. No way. Derek's not beating Brock Lesnar. No way. Fake fight or real fight, he's not beating Brock Lesnar. All right. That's question number 1. See, question numero dos. Deuce. That is going to be number 5. Just in case. And no, I did not chop that. Okay. Do you think the UFC will get rid of the Reebok deal? Okay, here's the thing about the Reebok deal. When the UFC signed that agreement, their hearts were in the right place. They really were. Whether you guys want to believe it or not, whether you diehards really think for 1 second that the UFC's heart was in the right place, guess what? It was. Did it backfire totally? Yeah. I don't know if they'd get rid of it. I think they would wait till the contract expires and just not renew it. Now, the UFC, just like every company, needs a main sponsor. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think they'd go with Adidas or, God, I hope they don't go with Nike. But I think they would just let it go and just not re-sign and re-up. So, here's the deal. Brian, you are heads. Just in case, you are tails. The winner of the raffle prize is, tails. Just in case you win, I will be hitting you up very late tonight or very early tomorrow morning, and I will let you know what is on your way. Brian, better luck next time. And I know you guys can't see, but it's not a two-headed coin. It's not a two-tailed coin. Okay? It's my last souvenir from when I was in Japan. So what else can we do? Let's talk, since we haven't done this in a while, my pound-for-pound rankings. Now, I'm not doing a full 15-person ranking, okay? I'm going to go top 12. I'm going to start off with number 12, and I'm going to work my way to the number 1 pound-for-pound guy that I would vote for, if I had a vote. But I don't have a vote, even though I've applied to vote. Haven't accepted me yet. Hopefully you guys will accept me by clicking share on this video, please. Thank you. My 12th ranked pound-for-pound fighter is Henry Cejudo. I feel he's just out of the top 10 range, and he's better than top 15, so I put him at 12. I think that's a good spot for Cejudo. Number 11 is a force and a half, Jessica Andrade. She is a bulldog like nobody's bulldog. Okay? If she was a guy and she was a heavyweight, she might be Stipe. Okay? Smaller, I don't think there's anybody smaller, sort of that has the power she does. Okay? So she's number 11. Number 10, T Wood. Even though personally I don't like him, see, this shows you I'm a great judge because I keep my personal feelings out of it. T Wood has the wrestling, he has the grappling, he has the power, he has the speed. Only thing he doesn't have is me as a fan, but he is number 10 on the pound for pound rankings as far as I'm concerned. Number 9, DJ, Demetrius Johnson. And yeah, I know I've always said if you're not fighting, if you're out for any length of time, you should not be in the pound for pound rankings. I'll make an exception with DJ. I think DJ, just on his body of work, just no human male being should be 125 pounds. But the fact of the matter is, he made 125 look easy. Okay, he never struggled making weight, and he was creative, and he is the meaning of a true martial artist. Honestly, he really is. Number 8, Amanda Nunes. Just like Jessica Andrade, but better and more powerful. That's why she falls in at number 8. Number 7, Max Holloway. We'll see after 231 if he's still there, but right now, my 7th ranked pound for pound guy is Max Holloway. Overall, he's too big for featherweight. He has to move up to lightweight, and then we'll really see how good he is. Okay. Number 6, El Kukui, Tony Ferguson. The guy's just sick. He is plain and simple sick. There's hardly anybody better. Maybe 1 or 2 better. But he has to be number 6. Number 5, the baddest man on the planet, Stipe Miocic. Despite the way he lost to, DC, Stipe's still pure brute strength. He will pummel you if you look at him wrong. Well, he really won't. He's a nice guy. But if you look at his wife wrong, he'll pummel you. At least that's what I think will happen. Number 4, TJ Killershaw, Pillishaw, Dillashaw, Schmillishaw. TJ, for his overall body of work, for his speed, for his tenacity, for his admittingness that to grow as a martial artist, you can't just stay at one gym. You have to go from gym to gym to gym to learn different things at different spots. See what you're doing not good here. See what you're doing good there. Combine them all. And that's why TJ Dillashaw is number 4 on my list. Number 3, Khabib. Khabib is 3. Is there really anybody better? When he takes you down, and if he doesn't get you like the first time, the second, the third, the fourth, or the fifth, much like kind of stop like 5, 6 takedowns. It's numbers 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 you got to worry about. Because that's when he will take you down. And then he smash you. He's 3 on the list. Plain and simple. Number 2, nobody has this person in this high up on their rankings except for me. I put this person at number 2, silver medalist, kind of, in silver medal place, number 2. Chris Cyborg. The beast of all beasts. As a matter of fact, it bothers me to no end that the UFC, first of all, doesn't go out and get true 145ers. Hell, even like an Amber Leibrock. You know what? Wait till her Bellator contract is up. Snatch it. Just throw an insane amount of money her way. She lost to Megan Anderson. I guarantee you she'd want to roll that one back. I could have asked her about that too, but I didn't. Here's the thing. If she was in the UFC, she would absolutely, I think it's safe to say, would love to take on Megan again. And Cyborg. Although apparently now Chris Cyborg, who I showed this so much respect for, is now going to be training the girl that said Cash Me Outside. He's going to be training the Cash Me Outside chick. Are you kidding me, Chris? What are you doing, Cyborg? What in the Blue Tarnations are you doing? And our number one pound-for-pound fighter. Who else right now? Champ. We'll see if he retires with both one or no belts. Daniel Cormier. If Cain Velasquez wasn't in the UFC and DC came in as a heavyweight, could he have been one of the greatest heavyweights of all time? Is he one of the greatest heavyweights of all time? He's one of the best light heavyweights of all time. He's on the GOAT list, honestly. That's what DC is now. He's on the freaking GOAT list. And he's number one on my pound for pound list. So, as we wrap this big shindig up, I want to remind all of you, keep it right here on Strong Island Television, because after me is Pinups, Cool Cats, and Comics. Kick-ass show. So, next Monday, when I possibly, right now it's 50-50, I'm working on it, in-studio guest. Possible. As we expand our outlook on combat sports to another sport. That's what we call in the business a tease. I'm not going to tell you yet. You'll have to tune in next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, this is Cyclone saying, as I always say, just because you're not an athlete doesn't mean you can't be an athletic supporter. Bye-bye.